Oh, what's going on, everybody? All right, let's hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Let's get this party started. Sorry, I have like 1,000 things I'm doing right now. All right, cool. We'll do that. How is everybody? Happy Tuesday. So this stream's going to be pretty short. If you guys don't know, it's a huge US holiday this week. Just in my 4 years of trading, I could tell you that Thursdays and Friday are going to be pretty low volume. Anybody trading anything on the stock exchange side, equities, commodities, metals, pay attention to your brokers. I could tell you the New York Stock Exchange is going to close on Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So hold on. Okay. All right, cool. What's good, man? How's everything, bro? How you doing out there on the West Coast, bro? Because I don't know if you guys, dude, it is nice. It is 64 degrees right now where I'm at. It's beautiful. We got the windows open. It's always nice. Yeah. So tonight's stream isn't going to be as long. I've got one daughter at a volleyball practice because even though school season is over, we are now into club season. So yeah, I've got one daughter doing that with the wife, and the rest of the family is here enjoying the nice weather. So we'll get right into it. We got some NZD news coming out tonight that I'm not, obviously I'm not much of an Asian session trader, but when we have some Kiwi news coming out during Asian session, I'm going to be paying attention to it because of what I'm looking for. Yeah, it is. It's 75 over there right now. Really? 75? Dude, I thought you guys would have been at least low 60s, low 50s already by now, man. You know what it is? It's probably, you know what it is? I know what it is. It's all of the thefts that are going on over there in California that they have to burn the boxes, right? Like when they steal, the Louis Vuitton bags, or when they steal the TVs from Best Buy and stuff like that. They've got to burn the boxes somehow, and that's global warming. All the materials that they don't need, they're burning, and it's raising the temperature up. So I hear 34, bro. Geez. Yeah, good luck with that, man. You Canadians can keep that stuff. All right, so this is definitely on my radar for tonight. I've actually got some limit orders that I'm gonna be looking for out of the Kiwi, and dude, it is hilarious. I laughed. I don't know if you guys saw this. It was in today. Hold on, Best Buy. I wonder if I could just do Best Buy thefts if it pulls up. So right here. Here it is. It's all over all the major. Even let's go to CNN. Even CNN is jumping on this. So they're talking about how Best Buy employees are quitting because of the traumatic experience they are receiving from these thefts in California. So they're getting PTSD from it. They're losing so much merchandise because these people are just coming in and stealing it by the droves. So it is comical. I mean, that's what happens when you put a policy in place that protects criminals. But hey, who am I to say anything about that? Anyway, going back into it, really the only thing I'm looking for is Kiwi news. We're looking at Kiwi news. I'm really not. I mean, I'll tell you, me personally, I'll be shut down trading by Wednesday, and then I'm just gonna, I'll have some family and friends visiting for the holidays Thursday and Friday. So that's what I'm gonna be, really focused on. Like I said, traditionally, I looked back I did actually this weekend. I looked back at my journals, and the volatility just dies down. There's not a lot that goes into, especially on Thursday and Friday. So, that being said, I'm really not going to be committing a lot of time and effort this week to trading because it's not going to be worth the risk to reward for me. I'll be managing what I've had. So, yeah, I'm not going to be waking up early on Thursday and Friday for it. So, I mean, the bulk of, and I'll tell you this, just from my personal knowledge, the bulk of traders, whether it doesn't matter what bank you're trading for, so a buddy of mine actually is a Barclays trader, and he works out of a New York office. So, I mean, the bulk of the traders are going to be, on vacation. They're not going to be going to work. So it's just going to be the algorithms running everything. So I'm not going to be tremendously, on the charts. So I'm not going to be wasting a lot of time. I'll be managing what I have. And if something comes in, I mean, listen, that's why you got alerts. If something comes in at a particular price point, just because we're in a low volatility area doesn't mean that, or low volatility time, doesn't mean I'm not going to have my limit order set, but I'm just not going to be actively looking for trades. All right. So going into it, let's just dive into TradingView. Goodness, we got a couple of alerts that came off today. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, so let's dive into it. So real quick, just going through very quickly what we got holding. Update on Chef JPY, man. It is just absolutely nothing. This thing has taken its time coming back down. I was interested in looking for a hedge position. I was really looking for a hedge position out of this area right here. I'm not too aggressively looking for one at this point. Like, I just want this to hurry up and just come down to my buy area. I'm not 100% committed to trying to counter trend trade this. So if it plays out, it will. If not, I'm not too worried about it. But just, on it as an update, that's nothing has changed in the last couple of weeks. Still waiting for it to come down into this area here or down into the extreme. This is that leg that we saw push in. Okay. So that's ideally what I'm still going to be waiting on. So EG, update on EG. Listen, for everybody that caught EG last week, what was it? Yeah, it was last week, the week before, actually. I've taken now my 3 partials. I'm holding on to what I have. There's no reason for me to think otherwise. I'm not really concerned about this accumulation. This accumulation is just going to be another reason for price to trap buyers, get up probably into the next point that we're going to sell from. So I'm really, for selling purposes, I've got my eyes set on that right there. That redistribution that ultimately causes this low is the first area I'm going to look at. That's why my alert is sitting right here at 85,200. But that is for me one of my very first point of interest that I'd like to get price up to. Now, will I look for a hedge buy? Absolutely, right? Because at this point we're holding 2 sells, right? We're holding sells from up here back in October. And we're holding now, at least I'm holding 2 orders from up here, and both are well in some huge profits. So I'm pretty happy with it. At the third, when we broke this low here at the third TP on a full risk trade, which for me, was at the 0.25%, did a 0.25% risk. I've now secured out of these orders here, I've secured 8.12% profit just on those orders right there, breaking that third TP. So I'm happy with it. I'm going to be just holding the rest for volume and siphoning off as we can. I'm not too convinced about the buys, just because, I mean, if we look here on the 1 hour chart, every accumulation has failed. Every accumulation has failed. Look at the accumulations in here. Failed. So every accumulation has failed. I will not be really interested in taking some significant buys out of EG until we confirm this schematic, right? Just like if this was a 1 minute or a 1 second schematic, I'm not going to do anything until we break structure. So right now you can see, like, we've just done this, right? So if this is our spring, then I need us to break that. Okay. And if we don't break it, then I'm just going to continue to hold the sells. I've been holding sells for a long time on this, and nothing's changed my mind on it. Just hopped on. Did you go through Chef JPY? Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really to do with Chef JPY yet. I mean, it's still doing its thing, man. I'm not going to be fighting it to try to catch a hedge sell. So, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I mean, as far as I'm concerned at this point, I just want it to drop. I just want it to come into our buy area. So yeah. Yep. So on EG, we'll see what happens. I would honestly, I'm expecting us to make another low make another push down here. If we make that low, I'll be looking. So I've got my eyes set on 50% of the reaccumulation that occurred way back in the higher time frame structure point. So if we come back over here, this is the reaccumulation. Let's go to the 4 hour. So this is that reaccumulation that ultimately causes the initial break. This is really that slingshot that gets the entire move going. So this is that first area that I'm going to be looking at. So you can see 50% of that reaccumulation is where I'm looking for us to kind of come down to. And if we can get that, great. That's where I'll potentially look for a lower time frame entry. And we'll see if we get it. But right now, like just looking at these at the chart, I mean, I'm expecting this keep coming lower. And we'll see. Like I said, I'm pretty happy with it. What are we sitting at? We are sitting at between the two orders. One order is at a 1 to 200, the other order is at a 1 to 92, and the other order from up here is at like a 1 to 120. So, as far as I'm concerned, I'd be happy if I woke up and this thing was 200 pips further down. So EG at this point is just managing and just waiting for the right timing to get into a potential buy on it. At this point, I don't have that reason to get into the buy yet. Okay. So we'll see how it plays out. Going on EU. So EU has just kind of slipped through. It hasn't given me any kind of entries for sells. The last sell that I was able to snag on this was way back in September, right up here out of this redistribution. We were able to snag that. That's sitting at a 1 to 200, just living on it. Luckily so EU is actually paying me positive swap fee for the sell. So I'm up, what am I up? So I am up, I'm only up at, I only have 0.78 lots left on this thing because I've been siphoning off everything else. And yeah, I'm positive $26.25 on swap fees. So they're paying me, I don't know how much they're paying me, but they're paying me positive swap fees for it. So I'll just continue to hold that sucker. Yeah, no, it hasn't given any pullbacks, and it's a shame. This is why you leave a runner though. I mean, remember when we were looking at this entry here and we caught it, I was adamant about keeping a runner because we may not see it. And hold on guys, the stupid dogs. And just looking at it from the higher time frame, I talked about this was the first area I was going to be looking for price to give us some buys. And if we traded below it, which it looks like we're just going to be going through it, this is the next area. So I want to make sure that I catch everything in here with that sell that I'm in, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. Yeah, it is. I mean, it's doing what we wanted it to do. It's just been very elusive. We haven't been able to really catch anything. Do you happen to know why they sometimes pay positive? Nope. Yeah, it all has to do with like the percentage yields that brokers get from their liquidity provider. So what parameter do you put in place to choose the pair to trade? I guess when it comes into my point of interest, man, when it comes into my point of interest, that's when I know I'm ready to pull the trigger and take the trade. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to buy it up, especially because I'm in the hedge. I'd love to buy it up, but right now it's just, I mean, look at it from an intraday perspective. It's just all continuation. I thought this was going to be our best option right here, but that ended up falling through. And now, I mean, you could just see the price action. We are just doing that. So unfortunately, if you're not in an EU sell, you're just not capitalizing on it. And I mean, it sucks. I'm right there with you. I've got one order at 0.78 lots left, so I'm holding what I have. And I mean, it's still in pretty decent profits. I mean, I'll tell you right now on my personal account, what I'm holding out of this trade here, it's still, I mean, it's up a little over 3% is what I'm holding, 3% of my personal account profits. And nothing about this price action is telling me to close that sucker. So looking at that, GU, So following up on GU actually played out really, really nicely. It sucks. A lot of us got taken out at changeover because of the stupid spread. But you know, for everybody that got back in out of the distribution that it printed, really super clean distribution. I know a couple of people are in off the 80% of that 118-minute candle. You know, you can just see we tapped into that news candle that came in really nice. We formed a really, really super clean distribution. For me, you know, finding the most voluminous candle was that 118. Where's she at? There she is. Finding the most voluminous candle was that 118-minute candle. So, you know, going from that, you know, you can see we broke structure and we just came right back into it. Came right back into that 80% and then sold off. So I know a lot of people that, you know, we were physically trading this during New York, and we came in and caught this entry in here, which was super clean. But then, you know, when we went reduced risk, changeover took us out. I personally have a really small order, which sucks because I wanted to get a re-entry out of this, but I do have a small order out of that. It's nothing substantial, but it's sitting. I mean, when it broke this low, it gave you a 1 to 23. And there's nothing to suggest that we're going to be going into any bullish momentum change here. So for me, where I'm looking at now is, you know, I'm looking at just from an order flow perspective, this leg right here is the most recent order flow leg. I will look to see if we come into that Frankfurt price action. If we can come into Frankfurt's manipulation move and just look at it, I mean, you can see we had essentially, what is this, right? This is just a redistribution. You know, it's an attempt at an accumulation. You have your manipulation here at Frankfurt open that sweeps the Asian highs, right? So for everybody that likes to trade Asian session, whether you got in here, here, or here, if you moved your stop loss to anything, you got taken out by Frankfurt. So that's your shakeout. So now what I wanted to see is I wanted to see us come back, and you can see this may have been that mitigation of it. If we come back into anything higher, that's where I'll be looking for a distribution here. So it's order flow. It requires a schematic for me to take anything out of. So if we get it, that's what I'll be looking to play. And if not, right, if not, I'll be looking, there's 2 points of interest that I'm personally looking at. Obviously, if we come back up into this needs to be mitigated, right? So if we come back up into there, that's going to be obviously the extreme of what I'm looking at, because this is the high right here that is maintaining this leg. So it goes from here to here. And this is our test. So I'd be looking for price to come back and mitigate this redistribution, right? Because that's ultimately what this was just one massive redistribution. There's your creek, or there's your ice. Okay. So that's gonna be a point of interest for me, as well as what happened in here. The only thing that I'm very suspicious about, or I guess it's not really piquing my interest, is because this happened at the end of New York session. So because this happened at the end of New York session, there's just a lot of, there's a lot of suspicious activity with low volatility. You know, what was really the intention here? You know, this being just a really ugly redistribution. You know, I want to see either we play out of that down there, or just come all the way up. Come all the way up. Let's mitigate out of this. Let's get a nice little clean distro, really tight stop. And let's just shoot this down and make a new low. You know, you go up to an intraday perspective, and GU, I mean, if you think that this is bullish, I mean, maybe invert your chart, you know, come over here to the little sundial and invert that sucker, you know, maybe that'll be bullish for you. But yeah, we're very much bearish, and we've got to be continuing to look for those sells. So from a higher time frame perspective, you know, this is an area right in here, this previous reaccumulation that kind of got us getting up into these premium pricings. This is something I'll be looking at around the 132 area for a potential hedge to maybe walk this up. But GU's price action has just been super simple. You know, I mean, when you look at this price action, all you should be able to see is that distros are prevailing, meaning supplies in control, right? Supplies in control. So if supplies in control, we got to continue to look for those sells. So yeah. Yeah, no worries, no worries. Okay, perfect, cool. So that's what I'm waiting on GU. I like the areas for everybody in the trade. You know, hey, just keep managing it. I mean, there's no reason not to be in that sucker. You know, I'll skip NZ. Well, you know what, we'll do NZD Cad now. So NZD Cad, super clean entry that we caught on this. You know, we leveraged some comparable strength with OddCAD when we took this. You know, super clean distribution. You can see that just measuring the UTAD, this is the 80, this is the 50. We come right into that 50 area. So we're in the area that I wanted to see us do something in. And, you know, if you haven't back tested this, I would definitely recommend you going through and back testing it. You know, coming into New York price action, right? We saw Frankfurt start to build. We saw Frankfurt start to build our schematic. We come in during London, create the UTAD, and then New York, right prior to New York session. Here's New York session right here, right? Right prior to New York session, we confirm the distribution. So for me, it was all about finding that right there. So, you know, we played it off the 27-minute. You know, it was without a doubt the easier thing to find. You know, you just come up, find that 27-minute, and you could see that's the most voluminous candle that we had. So most voluminous candle is what we wanted to play out of. It gave that easy 80%. Now the only reason I personally wasn't looking at the 50 was just the stop loss was massive. So I think it was like a 2.6 pip stop. Plus the spread. So NZD Cad for me was 1 freaking pip spread, which was ridiculous. But so it added about, you know, it went up to a 3.6. We saw really good price action coming into New York, you know, popped in, immediately reduced risk after we saw that move. I actually took a second entry off of it. And then you'll see that same thing now towards the end of New York, a lot of people got taken out because of the spread, right? And here's my advice to you. So you could see the distro, right? You could see us just immediately, we could see this walking through. So this is the end right here. This is the end of New York session. So for me, when I reduce my risk, I don't go to break even. And this is why, because that saved me from getting taken out at changeover with the spread because of the sell. Remember, the sell, you're subject to your broker manipulation, where on the buy, you're not. So, you know, just seeing all of this played out. And I mean, NZD Cad's not moving like, you know, it's not moving very fast, but you know, you can see we're just evenly mitigating out of everything. So this morning when we broke that low, it was sitting at a 1 to 33. Now I am expecting, I'm not going to be looking for a reentry until we break this low, right? Until we break this low. And then we just set this thing back up and wait for a pullback and continue to move down. So I'm holding just under 50% volume. I've secured 2 partials, technically 3 partials, but I kind of only took a small portion of the third part or the first partial just to pay myself. So I like NZD Cad, and of course I'll tell you like what's my target. Well, I mean, my target is, this is a massive redistribution in the making. So I'm targeting this low at the very, you know, so very first thing is I want to get down through here, confirm that distribution, right? I want to now make this low here, because you could see we've already broken through the ice. We've already kind of invalidated the accumulation in demand. You know, the fact that this accumulation was only able to push price into supply and then break that order flow and lower time frame structure kind of tells me that this is just going to continue lower. So I'm going to continue to hold, and I want to get this thing down into this area here, right? That's where I'm looking to take this down to. So, I mean, that in itself is a little over 400 pips. So I like the area where NZD Cad was. You know, we talked about it last week, especially when we were looking to trade this. It made pretty good sense. It gave us the price action we were looking at, and then from there, just executing, you know, jump in the trade and then manage it. For everybody that got taken out at changeover, I mean, sometimes, listen, it happens to me a lot as well. You know, there's nothing you can do about it. You know, the broker manipulation is a real thing. You know, the The only way to get around that is to, you know, be your own liquidity provider, which, you know, I would love to do one day, but I have nowhere near the equity to do that. I am looking though. So I am looking for some strength out of the Kiwi. And if we can get back up into this area here specifically, this is where, if we can get up into this area here, this is where specifically I may look for another position to sell this out from, right? So if today's news gets us up there, great. If London gets us up there, great. I'll wait for a schematic out of that point. And that one of the main reasons I'm looking at that is, you know, you can see just the continuing effort of accumulation failing, continuation of accumulation failing. And, you know, we had Asian price action. London ends up, I'm sorry, New York ends up sweeping that Asian high and then collapsing. So, you know, this is what needs to be mitigated. This is just a phantom candle, ghost candle. It's not real. This happens during changeover. So I want to see us get up into that area here, right? If we can get up into that area, that's where I'm going to be looking. All right. Let's see. Update on silver. So we were looking at silver last week as well, and silver gave a really nice entry. You know, we had a really good distribution. Now my entry on on forex.com, it actually doesn't get triggered, but on my broker it does. So I was looking to play out of the 49-minute candle, and going to bed when we were down here, I still put this back up. This actually ends up coming a little higher. We come into this a little higher, somewhere around here on my broker, and on a couple other feeds as well. Like if you come, just check any other feed, you can come over here to here. I'll just pick like this one, Saxo. Let me see, does this one do it? So yeah, so Saxo does it as well. You can see how Frankfurt sweeps just above right here, just above Asian price action. So that's where I'm in on silver from it. I do like the price action we've been seeing on it. This morning, when we came into the low this morning during New York, it was at about a 1 to 38. I'm continuing to just hold this. I want to get it to break this low, right? If we can break this low, because technically this is what's maintaining that order flow structure point, right? I want to see if we can get that low broken. Now, if we do come in here and we start to accumulate in here, I will take a buy hedge, right? I will take a buy hedge. And if I get to break even on it, I'll take some more partials out of the sell and work the buy up. You know, this area kind of has my focus point. I do like the sells on silver. Gold, I'm not, you know, gold is honestly just sideways for me. Gold is we're not, I mean, higher time frame we're bullish, intraday we're bearish, lower time frame is anybody's guess. Because the price action on it is, you know, we broke in structure so many damn times on it that for me the intention isn't well known. It's not something that I'm really willing to put a lot of risk into, but I do know that we broke this low here. So because we broke this low, now I'm committed to sells on silver, and long term I'm trying to get it down into this area here, because this is that last point that needs mitigation. We need to mitigate out of this move right here. So that's where I'm looking to take silver to. If this is the trade that gets me down there, I'm fully committed to hold that until we get down there. So I'll siphon off from it as I need to, but the distribution on it was super clean. The point of interest was super clean. Do I buy? Yeah, I buy physical metals. Yep. I won't buy anymore. So I buy silver. So here you go. I've already got money in my metal collector, where when we get in here is where I'm buying some more. This was the last area that I bought a ton of silver from. So yeah, when we get down in there, that's where I'll be buying some more. I don't buy gold. I buy silver. Silver's got a better appreciation value than gold right now. So, I mean, if you just think about it, if say you bought silver at $16.66 and it gets up to an all-time high, you made a 200% profit, right? And if you buy gold if you buy gold at, let's just say gold gets into this weekly candle like that I'm expecting. Say we buy it at the low end of it and we just get up to an all-time high. I mean, you're only making 40% profit on your investment. So for me, silver's the way I'm doing it. So how do you go? Wait, how do you buy it? What do you go? Where do I buy it from? So I buy it from these folks right here. Hold on. So I buy it from these guys right here. So, yeah. Would it still be valid for you? I mean, you can. I would do some work. I do some background on it. Yeah, I mean, these guys are out of New York. I mean, you'll have to pay that. Well, yeah, I mean, I think I would just double check, get online. I can't tell you for sure because I have no idea what. I know I get free shipping to my address in the US. I also know that you can also store, depending on, I've got a pretty large safe that I store mine in. So I don't have to worry about, well, one day, hopefully I'll have that problem where I have to worry about storing it somewhere. But yeah, you can, this is for me, this is a really good dealer that I buy from. Yeah. SD Bullion is having sales at spot. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I mean, I'm not personally going to be buying anything yet until we get lower. So when we get lower on silver, I'll be buying it down here. Because that's where I know we're gonna get it. I bought a ton when we broke this right here. When we did this, I bought a ton of silver. Yeah, I bought a very large amount, so I was pretty happy with it. Okay, so going back, so that's silver. So let's talk about the two that I'm really interested in, especially for tonight, right? So we'll start with AU. AU. So top down on it, right? I mean, we are bullish, right? We are bullish on this sucker. This did come into our point of interest. From there, what did it do? From there, it gave us that sign of strength, came back into point of interest. We saw clear signs of accumulation down in here, reaccumulation. Market cycle took it up, made a new high. Right now, that's what's maintaining our lower time frame. Right. So I do like what AU is doing. One of the key things that I was looking at was I wanted to see what we were going to do here. Well, you could see we attempted accumulation, we broke through it. So now what was the next area? The next area was everything in this right here is what I wanted to see, right? This push down is what we need to mitigate out of. So I'm very interested, or I was very interested in what happened in this bad boy right here. What was something that helped you out a lot in my trading journey? Learning about risk, learning about not only risk management, understanding risk assessment, and learning how to prioritize my trades based on risk. Not every trade's going to be a winner. So how can I minimize the crappy trades from the good trades? So this is what I wanted to play. I wanted to see what we did in this Frankfurt candle, right? So 50% of it, right? 50% of it is where I wanted to see where we were going to play out of. And then of course, like I had something down here as well. But this was the first area. So when we came into that price area, you'll see that we tapped it. I mean, right on the dot, we tapped right into 50% of that. So this morning we were watching this. We've got a really clean accumulation. You could see it here. So you've got your SC, you've got your ST, you got your ST, and then you've got your spring, right? So I'm pretty happy with what we're getting out of it. Limit on the 4 minute. I don't know, where's the 4 minute? What's the 4 minute look like? 4 minute. What's the 4 minute on the lower time frame MC? On the lower time frame MC. So you've got a limit here. Out of that. Yeah, for me, unfortunately, this is why I like NU better, but that right there was your mitigation. So yeah, I don't have a limit on AU. I have a limit on NU down here because down here we have a really clean type 1 accumulation on NU, but on AU I don't. Yeah, on AU I don't. However, now we can see what we got here, right? We can see that we have the 80% of the 15 minutes. What I like the 80% of the 15 minute candle, pretty solid. Just keep in mind that this was the 50% mitigation of it. So, you know, this could be the mitigation, and then we can just go up from here. You know, we could potentially do something here and go like that. So it's only really, time is only going to tell what's going to happen. But what I am, out of that 15-minute candle, what I'm really concerned with, this is what it looks like on the 1 minute, and everybody should know what this is right here. So that's what I'm kind of looking to see if price can come down there. I have my limit order set on it, and that's what it looks like on the 15-second. So, you know, if it looks kind of funky to you there, switch it to the line chart, and that should tell the story all day long. That's your accumulation. So out of that accumulation, this is what I want to mitigate. And, you know, I will tell you, it's entirely up to you how you're going to trade it. I know a lot of people are going to take it out of the open. Nothing wrong with that, right? Nothing wrong with that, because you're talking out of the open, you're talking about a 2.5 pip stop, right? Take it out of the open. You know, for me, I've got the limit order on the 50%. I'm going to take it out of the 50%. I'm fully prepared that if it misses my order, it misses my order. You know, I'm up for the month pretty nicely already, so I can be very selective, and that's what I'm doing with AU. So I do like this area here. If we get it, if price, especially today, and you know, news comes out in 14 minutes, Kiwi news is going to affect the Australian dollar. If we can get that pushed down, great. You know, and that's kind of what I'm going to be looking for. Right. I'm going to be looking to see if we can get back down into this area. And it's kind of building. I mean, you can see technically, like, you can do your, you know, your liquidity line there for ICE, you know, let this thing come down, boom, pop in, whether it's the 80% of the 15 or it's coming back into here before we see price take off higher, you know, shake out the weekended buyers that got in today. I could see that as a perfect manipulation play, but I do like what's happening on AU. You know, this is clear indication for me, especially the way that they're filling orders, right? If you kind of pay attention, so look at this accumulation, right? Look at this accumulation, and then look how well put together this one is, right? So for me, this was all some attempts to see if they had enough interest. This is where they really started to show signs of life when it came to filling buy orders. So at this point, I really like this accumulation. I like how it's put together. I like the anatomy of it. I like the volume in the candles, right? The volume in the candles are telling me exactly what I want to see. You take your limit off until Frankfurt starts. What, on AU? No, my limit's in there now. It's a buy limit, so I'm not concerned with the news. Yeah. Yeah. So, and I mean, I will tell you that I do not want price to trigger me. Normally, I don't want price to trigger me prior to Frankfurt opening, but Frankfurt opening for me is at 2 o'clock in the morning. So typically when I go to bed, whether it's like 11:30, if I have limit orders that I had pending, I'll just put them back on and just hope that I don't get triggered during that Asian price action. So, but that's AU, right? Now let's go over to NU. NU, same story, right? So you can see that from a higher time frame perspective, you know, we had a distro, then we accumulated and we broke. We came in, we mitigated at a 80% of the spring, and then we made a new high. So the intent for me is pretty clear. You know, we're looking to drive this higher. You know, especially the way we came in. Like I said, we came into exactly 80% of that spring, right? So what I want to see now is coming out of this, right? Lower time frame. You know, I talked about it for a couple of weeks now. I've got that lower time frame entry down in here, but I wanted to see what we did specifically in this reaccumulation, right? This was a news candle. I believe this was FOMC. No, I take it back. Hold on. Was this 8 o'clock in the morning? This was 8:15. Yeah. So this was NFP. So out of this NFP manipulation candle, I wanted to see what we were going to do. I identified coming out of that spring in this lower time frame accumulation, 50 and 80% of it, right? So that's where I wanted to see us come into. And we tapped this morning, we tapped right into 50% of it. So what I want to see now, this schematic is not as clean as AU's. But if you come lower time frame, I mean, you'll see what kind of we're looking at here, right? You do have an accumulation. It's not the cleanest. For me, I want to find this candle right here. What is that last push? What is that last push that was involved there? And for me, it's the 24-minute, right? So out of the 24-minute, this is something I'm looking to take out of, right? We've got this 24-minute candle. 50% of it sits at about 4.5% or 4.5 pips. You know, the 80% obviously is going to be a tighter entry sitting at about 2 pips. So I want to see us come back and mitigate out of this. You know, we've broken order flow. You know, we've taken the high that Frankfurt created. I'm happy, you know, because of structure being bullish already, I'm happy to start looking for those order flow plays out of it. And all we need now is news to kind of give us that push. You know, we're about, you know, what is it, about 30 pips from this price action. So I don't know if the news is going to give us that push. We may not get it, you know, but ideally that's what I'll be looking for. I'll be looking for the price to come back, mitigate this before we see that move up. Of the 127. Yeah. Well, I know it's when you measure, and I'm guessing the 127 is going to be this entire push here. So yeah. I've just measuring off of that. That's the confluence that you have in it. So I like the play on it. So it's just a matter of how are we going to get down there. Going with the rest of the watch list. ACAD is the same thing as NCAD. I prefer NCAD though. NCAD structure is so much cleaner. You know, going back to NCAD, you remember like we had that really tight distribution, and ACAD has just been sideways. You know, going back a week ago, I wanted to see what we did in here. And sure enough, we came in here, we distributed, but we never came back for the entry. And now I need to see us I wanted to see us break that low, come back, and I would play out of a pullback, but we've just been sideways for the better part of a week, right? We've just been stuck in this range. And, you know, to me, it's not something I'm going to trade. You know, I'm not going to be trading anything in here. If anything, we're going to come higher, you know, maybe play out of something out of this area here. But until we actually see some movement and break out of whatever the heck this is here, I'm not going to give it a second thought. Will you go through? I did EU and GU already. Yep, that was one of the first ones I did. Yeah, so I'm bearish on GU. I'm bearish on EU. So just look for sells. That's how I'm doing it, looking for sells. So ACAD, I'm not really impressed. I prefer NCAD, and NCAD is the one that we took the entry on. So I'm happy with just continuing to look for those sells on that. Yeah, exactly. It'll be uploaded to YouTube. You can just backtrack it. So trust me, you're nowhere near an entry on a sell anyway. So you can watch it tomorrow. So on A Chef, A-Chef and N-Chef, right? Same thing, you know, much like AU and NU, I'm looking for bullishness, right? Not really liking any price action on Aussie Swiss franc, but on NZD Swiss franc, I do like it, right? We did come into a point of demand that I wanted us to see come in. We did. So if you come over here and you'll look, we did have an accumulation, right? So we did have an accumulation in here. I do like what I saw. And then out of that accumulation, just narrowing down what happened. So obviously this for me has been mitigated, right? So out of this price action here, what do we get? Well, we got that really ugly accumulation pre-New York. And then during New York session, we got the reaccumulation. So by measuring just the entire spring, this is 50% of it. And this puts us right dab in the middle of this reaccumulation. So this reaccumulation is my point of interest. What I want to see, and I've got an alert. You can see my alert right here. I've got an alert. I want a lower time frame accumulation here. That's what I want to see. If I can get that lower time frame accumulation here on NZD Chef, I will pull the trigger. I will take it all day long. So I like the idea of price again with news pushing this down, coming into here, building something here. And in a perfect scenario, this is what I would love to see. I'd love to see Asian session come down here. I'd love to see as Frankfurt opens, we do that. Spring, break the high during London, come back, give me the entry to take this higher. That's what I want to see, right? I would love, especially right in here. This is what my point of interest, this is my main point of interest that I want to play out of. Now, if we come lower, if we come into here, then so be it. You know, you can see I've got the 80% of that spring lined up in there. But I am looking for continuation plays on NZD Chef. By comparison, you look at odds Swiss franc, and it's just not as clean, right? Just not as clean. Now, odds Swiss franc did come and trade and mitigate out of here. So we may not necessarily come back down on NZD Chef, but I prefer the price action on NZD Chef. It's cleaner. It's definitely more organized. So I'll look to play that. Is psychology a big part of trading, or trading analysis more important? I would say that psychology is a huge part of trading, but you can have all the psychology in the world. If you don't have good trade analysis, you're going to lose. It's not which is more important. I think before you can be a good trader, you have to be a good market analyst. And I would make sure that you understand market analysis first and then work on psychology. If I was going to give you advice, that's how I do it. But yeah, trade psychology is, I mean, heck, trade psychology is very important, but you can be the Mark Douglas of trading, when it comes to psychology. But if you don't understand what's happening on the chart, all the psychology in the world ain't going to get you to be successful. Right. So you've got to find that happy medium between the two. All right. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking there. CAD Chef, just an update on CAD Chef. So CAD Chef, man, CAD Chef, we had price come into the area that we wanted it to come into, right? We were looking all day long. We were looking here. She came in. When did she come in? She came in on the 16th. So last week she came in, got a really clean distribution, but that distribution never came back to mitigate. This is the order where I'm sitting at off the 23-minute. So for me, the limit order is still valid, because now this is a valid point of structure, right? So you can see, like, just go to the 15-minute, and because we've made a new low, right? Because we've made a new low, that limit order is valid for me. So it's just a matter of waiting to see what happens, right? I'm going to take, I have a small limit, right? I've got my limit off of this, and then we'll see what happens as we come up in here. And I'm also expecting, right? The Swiss franc is pretty strong right now. The actual currency pair itself is an accumulation, and the Canadian dollar, because of oil, I'm bullish on the Canadian dollar. So that's why I'm being a little cautious with CAD Chef. I mean, structure, when you're playing the schematic, or when you're playing the chart, Cad Chef is bearish to me, right? But you can't displace or you can't overlook what US oil is doing, and it sucks. I haven't traded oil in a very, very long time, but I was looking for price. I actually marked this out yesterday, and TradingView did me wrong. TradingView did not give me the alert this morning. Not that I would have taken it because I was sound asleep when this came in, but I was looking for price to come back into our spring. You know, we had some really good divergence. We had some really good divergence that I had set up on it. I was expecting, especially after we broke this high, after we broke that high, I was expecting us to come back into the 80%. And sure enough, we accumulated during pre-New York, tapped right into it. And this would have given, I mean, nothing crazy, but it still would have given a decent play on oil. This would have made, yeah, I mean, it would have been a 20 pip stop, which going into today's price action would be a 1 to 16. So I was a little disappointed. I had done the work on it yesterday. I wanted to see it come in, but I did the work on oil because I wanted to see what the Canadian dollar was going to do. And I'm pretty convinced at this point that we're going to see, and you could see I've got this BOS up here. I want to see us do that, you know, potentially come back, mitigate out of here, and then just continue this going skyrocket. There's, you know, when it comes to US oil, there's nothing that fundamentally is going to keep this down. You know, we're going into the holiday season. They're talking about potentially getting some reserves out of the market. Oh, there's the news. Hold on. Let's see what happened. Oh, well, she did shoot down. I don't know if I got activated on this or not, though. What did AU do? Oh, AU didn't come down low enough. I don't know if I got filled. What happened? What was the spike first? Let's see. I'm gonna be pretty ticked off if I didn't get filled on it. IC got you stopped out. That's because you're on IC markets. You got to get off IC markets. It went on TPT. It went through your stop loss. Hold on. Let me see. Did it go? Did it go under it? Nah, that's some shenanigans, man. It shouldn't have gone below. FTMO clapped it as well. Bro, that's what happened. I'll tell you right now, man. Hold on. I'll tell you right now. Let me check my Owanda account. Let's see. Let us see. Hold on. Damn. I got way too many charts. So let's see. Let's see. Hello. Come on. So it's got to NU. Oh, wow. Yeah. So on my TPT account, NU, it went exactly to my stop loss. Exactly. My stop loss was at 69150. It went to 69150 and clapped me out. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Nope. Oh, wait, it did. It did. It did. Yeah. And I on FTMO, it didn't even trigger me. I guess I'll just delete this order on FTMO. Yeah, so on TPT, filled me. Hold on, let me look at my Owanda account. Oh no, Owanda, I'm still full. I'm still in it. Hold on, let me reduce. Not that I'm gonna reduce much, but let me get. Yeah. Nope, TPT, I'm out. It went right. So I had 150. 150 is my stop loss, and it went right to 150, hit me out. But I'm still in it on my Owanda account. So we'll see. And then AU didn't even come low enough. Yeah, AU didn't come low enough. So we'll see. Yeah, I'll tell you right now. So when it comes to prop firms don't think that they're their own liquidity provider, right? They get their liquidity from a third party. And if you notice, if you ever look at, I'm just going to see what she does when she comes down here. If you ever look at the, oh, what I got here. If you ever look at some of these prop firms, their liquidity provider, sometimes you'll get filled on orders. You can physically be sitting watching price trigger your order and not get filled. Yeah, that's the one disadvantage to being with a prop firm, is dealing with those liquidity providers. So at this point, I'm not going to be looking for an entry out of Asian. The news happened, so I'm going to wait to see what happens when we come into Frankfurt. So NU for me, NU is not done. Where did FXCM do? Look how far FXCM dropped past that. What a joke. Yeah. So going into NU and AU, I want to, yeah, and look at Forex. So this is kind of like what my personal Awanda account looks like. So my stop loss was down here at like 150. Actually, this is 161, but you could see this didn't go lower. So in my personal account, I'm still filled on it on Awanda. On my TPT account, it's not, and FTMO didn't even trigger me. So AU limits aren't valid. They're valid, but I just don't want them to get filled during Asian. So yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, on Awanda, it's not. It didn't. And you didn't take me out on Awanda. So yeah, we'll see how it plays out. But anyway, yeah. So if this, depending on what happens coming into Frankfurt, I'll be looking at what I want to do with NU and AU. Just keep in mind that we can still, hold on, we'll get over here. So we can still come lower on it, right? We can still, this limit here for me on NU is still very much valid, right? Because this is the structure point. All this was just my SC, right? So we could still come lower. So I'm gonna let Asian price action do its thing. And hold on, I'm just curious, what's the full movement on this? I don't think it was that much anyway. Yeah, 60 pips. Yeah, okay. Yep. So on NU, for me, I'm still bullish on it. This right here is just an order flow play. What I want to see is, if we do come lower, I want us now to come into this area right here. Right? That's what I want us to come into. So, and then same thing for AU. AU, I want to see us come, and AU didn't even come into that low. Yeah, AU didn't come into that low. So I just don't want it to get triggered during Asian. At this point here, you can see this was the manipulation, right? We saw the manipulation. Price is now back up to where it was sitting at. So ideally, perfect scenario is this. Just let Asian do its thing, right? Let Asian do its thing. Now coming into Frankfurt, if Frankfurt is here, let Frankfurt trigger it. That's what I want to do. Let Frankfurt trigger it, and then we go higher with it. So that's AU and NU. Someone wants GA. Yeah, GA for me is in absolutely no man's land. There ain't nothing I'm doing with GA. So, for anybody trading GA, congrats, you've been in a 7-day range just here. So I will be looking when we get back down into this area here. That's where I'm going to be looking, but we're 300 pips from that, right? Yeah, we're 260 pips from my alert. So, order flow has changed, right? You could see that we've accumulated, made a new high, reaccumulated out of here, made a new high, reaccumulated, made a new high. So this is where I'm going to be looking on GA, right? I want to see us come lower. Yeah, that's it. And realistically, we could still come lower, I'm curious to see what we do in here. If we can get up in that area and surpass it, great. If not, this could still just be a reason to come up here and then make a new low coming into, this to me is the line in the sand. If we trade below that low right there, I'm going to be very long-term bearish on GA. Did NU take me out? NU took me out on TPT. It did not take me out on my Awanda account. Yeah. On TPT, it came right to my stop loss. My stop loss was a 150. and came right to it. So yeah, so that's what I'm looking at for GA. GJ, I'm bullish. You know, GJ, I'm bullish. You know, we saw this accumulation last week, right? We saw this accumulation last week. We were identifying these 2 points of interest that I wanted to see price come into. And, you know, unfortunately, price came in, missed me by 0.8 of a pip. That's what it missed me by. So, you know, my area that I was looking at was you could see the accumulation. You could see we come back into 80% of the spring. Out of that, what I was looking at was this move right here. This right here. This is 50%. Lined up pretty nicely with what I wanted to play out of. You know, we had some liquidity that could get run if need be. So 50% we had imbalance sitting right in here. This is what I wanted to play out of. And, you know, what happens later is, I think this was Friday morning, actually. Friday New York session, price comes in and that's what it misses me by right there. And that's what she misses me by. So for now, I mean, there's nothing I'm playing on GJ until we take out this structure here. You know, there's absolutely nothing for me to play. So we take out this high, right? We take out this high. Well, now we could start looking for plays. You know, once that happens, whatever my SC is, that's where I'm going to be looking. But yeah, I mean, this structure here tells me that we're going higher. It's just a matter of now being patient, letting price break whatever I need to see broken, and then going up from there. Yeah. Perfect. Let's see. Okay, hold on. Give me 2 seconds. All right, sorry, had to get my water. Yeah, so that's ideally what I'm going to be looking at. I mean, you could see the reaccumulation. You could see we came back to mitigate out of it. So order flow is continuing to be bullish. So I like GJ for the buys. I'm just gonna, I've got to wait. You know, I've got to wait now to see what we do. Once we break structure, then I'll be looking for some more continuation plays. So that's what I got on GJ. You know, UJ and U Swiss, still bullish on this thing. I know somebody who was looking at sells this morning. Somebody was looking at sells out of this, and I just, for me, you know, I didn't want to counter trend it. I know for me, I'm still looking here. Like if we can return, if we can return to this accumulation, this is where I'd really appreciate UJ coming down to, because this is now what's maintaining our leg. You know, don't forget what the 4 hour looks like, right? This is just a massive reaccumulation, right? Just a massive reaccumulation, and structure is still being maintained from, actually structure's still from here, right? This is our leg. That's our leg. So, I mean, we are just, unfortunately, I haven't been able, UJ and GU were like my elusive pairs this year where I just couldn't find entries to get into them. Have I gone over gold and indices? Yeah, I've gone over gold. Yeah, I mean, gold, who knows? Yeah, big question mark on gold. I couldn't tell you. Indices, yeah, indices look bullish, man. So speaking of indices, I'll go through those, and then I think that pretty much will wrap up what I'm looking at for today. So indices, right? We'll start with SPX. You know, obviously we're super bullish on this thing, right? Absolutely just bullish as can be. And I know I don't know if Lewis is on here, bro. I still hope you're holding that buy out of here. You know, I took a small loss. Hold on, let me delete this. I took a small loss this morning on a buy on SPX. Right now the buys are still favorable, right? So you could see we have a distribution here, right? Where we're in a valid distribution, right? You've got your 1, 2, 3 drives. Here's your UTAD, right? However, what did it do, right? All it did was just trade right back into demand, right? So when in doubt, zoom out, look to see what happened, right? This is your manipulation, right? This is your manipulation. And for me, I'm still holding some buys out of this area here. And I would definitely, if you want to learn some lower time frame price action, get into back testing these areas in here. Backtest these areas in here. These gave some really good buys last week. And ultimately, you can see that price, we had the accumulation. This is actually where I'm in. I took a buy out of this right here. I'm in a buy still holding. And there was a really good opportunity to take a buy out of this price action right here. So, you can see if we just measure, I mean, maybe we could find it. Was it like maybe the 3-minute candle? Let's see. No, is it the 2-minute? Now, all right. So if I just measure this move right here, right, here's your 50%. Here's your 80%. If we go lower time frame, I don't know if we can, but let's just see. If we go lower time frame, yeah, super clean. Look at the accumulation that happens in here. So this 80%, 50%, that 80% is something I definitely would be looking at. And where did New York price action come to today? Right. So look at that. This is the 80%. Here's the 50%. It smacked right dab into that price point. Is this anything? What are we looking at, bro? Yeah, you're gonna have to tell me what this is because I have no idea what it is. Lewis, you're still on the buy. Good, man. Yeah. Nothing, bro. I'll tell you right now, nothing has told me not to, keep looking for it. Like I said this afternoon in the chat, I think we're still in play on the buys for it. Okay, hold on. It might be US 30 leading. Absolutely, it could be, but has US 30 broken anything yet? Has US 30 broken anything yet? Nope. I mean, I'm with you. I'm with you. I 100%. But we got a long way to go before I'm really bearish on this. Yeah, so I'll talk about US 30 on a higher time frame when we get there. Yeah, but so what do we ultimately have? I thought I had this marked out. Yeah, here we go. Here's where I had it marked out. So what I wanted to see, ultimately what I wanted to see us come back and mitigate out of this price action here. So that's something I'm going to be looking at for tomorrow. If we make this high here, which I'm pretty sure we will, for tomorrow's price action, I'm going to be looking specifically in this accumulation. That's where I'm going to be looking. Dive down into this area here. This is something I'm going to be looking at. I'm not going to be bearish on indices until we break bearish structure. Just because we're having a pullback doesn't mean that we're bearish. But you can see pretty cleanly here, here's your trading range. You had a pretty clean schematic. Here's the SC that breaks that. Here's the extreme in here on the seconds time frame. That is a type 1 on the seconds time frame. So this is the area that I'm going to be looking at potential buys for tomorrow. I just want to see, for me, the confirmation, and this is something I told everybody this afternoon in the chat that I'm in. What I wanted to see was, I want to see us break that high. That confirms, this was the manipulation today. And the loss I took this morning was just out of here, like ideally, or was it out of, Or did we take it out of here? I think we took it out of here. I think it came here. I think, oh, that's what it was. Yeah, because it was a reduced risk entry. Yeah, we played it out of here. So we took it out of this move right here. Price came in, triggered us. We saw the reaction, reduced risk, and then it just hit the reduced risk. So it is what it is. Yeah. So, that's ideally what I'm looking at. Just keep in mind, like you're looking at this distribution, right? But what did the distro do? It just, remember, a distribution has two reasons, right? For proper distribution. One is for sellers to enter the market, or for buyers just to push price back into a demand area. So did this distribution accomplish anything other than pushing price into demand? No. I mean, look at the most recent price action. Every pullback comes back into demand, right? Pullback. Oh, hold on. Pullback, demand, right? Pullback, demand. Pullback into demand, pullback into demand, pullback into demand, pullback into demand. It's just a revolving door. So for me, I'm still favoring the buys. Going into US 30, right? Going into US 30, and this is what I told everybody this morning. I'm not favoring US 30 buys, right? Because of what we're doing here, right? But let's go up to the 4 hour. And are we in a distribution? Yeah, potentially. Absolutely. But we got to break this, right? We have to break, it's got to come down 2,200 points, right? 2,200 points, or if you're an IM, it's 22,000 pips, right? It's got to come down. That's what it's got to come down to break. Like if it does that, well, yeah, absolutely. Then I'm right there with you. Any pullbacks into this, into the areas, I'll be looking to short. And then, we've got a long way to go if that breaks. We're potentially looking at this area here at the very minimum, but I just don't see that happening. I don't see the, don't confuse, and this is just from an economic standpoint, don't confuse indices with how the economy is actually working, right? Totally different, right? Totally different. They're two separate different animals. All right. Hold on, bear with me. All right, cool. Sorry. Yeah. No, it does. It does look bullish, man. Absolutely looks bullish. Like honestly, like if we come down, right? If we, from a structure perspective, I would love for price to come back into here. If we can get price here or even into this down here, I'd be looking all day. I'd be looking for those buys. I'll tell you, just don't get tunnel vision. The worst thing you can do is get tunnel vision with indices living on a 5-minute, 1-minute chart. Realistically, what did we do? All we did was this morning during New York is we tapped right into previous area of demand, so yeah, I'm going to continue to be bullish on these. SPX is honestly my favorite right now. It looks pretty clean. NASDAQ on the other end, what is NASDAQ doing? Listen, this is just look at, so this is your leg. That's your leg. So has NASDAQ broken any kind of significant structure? Absolutely not. So yeah, we've broken order flow, but you guys know where I stand on order flow. So NASDAQ, not the cleanest on something I want to really play. We'll see how it kind of materializes going into tomorrow, but SPX really has its crap together. For me, SPX is super clean. Like I know exactly how I'm going to play this as long as we can break this high. If I wake up tomorrow and, we break that high, I know that I'm waiting for the pullback to come back in here and look for it. So, yeah. Would anything before the break make you interested in a counter trade to sell this? Anything about this price action tell you to sell it? Not for me. For me, no. No, nothing unless, yeah, no. Nope. I mean, I guess the question is this, is it worth the risk for you? You know, is it worth, so, you know, would you put, you know, I mean, sure, if, you know, would I put $5 on a trade out of here or out of here? Sure. If we came up, right? Or, you know, if we want to talk about this being a redistribution, if like, say we do something like this, Asian session, Frankfurt, boom, London session like that. Yeah. Would I put $5 on that? Sure. I'd put $5 on it, but I'm not doing anything else. You know, I'm not going to be, I'm not really risking anything of any value on it. For me, this is bullish, right? That's how I'm looking at it. Yeah. More US 30? No, still not US 30. What's US 30? What is US 30 giving us? Nothing. Absolutely not. Right. I mean, where would I want to sell from? I mean, if I'm going to sell anything, it's going to be, I'm guessing probably out of this distribution right up here, you know, but again, you're trying to sell the most bullish thing in the stock market right now. So yeah. Yep. So that's kind of how I'm looking at playing it. You know, SPX is right now the top of my list. I like SPX. You know, we'll see. Goodness. We'll see how it plays out, you know. You know, again, for me, I want that high to get taken. If we can break that high tonight and then coming into equities open tomorrow, I'll be looking for buys to take this higher, you know, and ultimately targeting this high up here, because this distribution here absolutely did nothing, you know. So that's how I'll look at it. Yeah. And use breaking the low. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good, man. Yeah, like I said, I'm not looking to take any more entries out of Asian price action. It was just what was set up for that news. The rest of my entries now are just going to be waiting for Frankfurt and London to come in, and then going over that. So come lower, but it didn't take that recent demand. You said you wanted CAD Chef to come lower. CAD Chef. But it didn't take recent demand. What do you mean it didn't take recent demand? What are you talking about? No, I said I wanted to come up here now. Yeah, my limit order set. Yeah, my limit order set. This is now maintaining. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That broke. That's all I needed. Yep. That's all I needed. You know, and then of course we got an accumulation. So yeah, I'm not interested. If this comes down here, I'm not interested in trying to buy it up because I'm not in the sell, right? So I'm not going to hedge it. Yeah. Yep. No, CAD Chef is good to go. Absolutely. So anyway, but that's pretty much everything I've got eyed on for this week. You know, like I said, I'm expecting it to be a really light week. I'm not, you know, for the month, I'm happy with the profits I'm up for the month, you know, especially out of EG, Nzd Cad, even the small little order on GU, silver, and then, you know, just throughout the last 2 weeks, the small little scalps that we've been able to really snag on SPX and US 30 has been pretty nice. So I'm not going to force anything going into this week. I know that volatility is going to be pretty low. So, you know, if I know volatility is going to be low, and, you know, I'm not going to force it. So, you know, like I said, especially, you know, AU, NZD Chef, stuff like that. Just wait till Frankfurt. You know, don't be forced into a trade, especially during Asian. I mean, if you like to trade Asian price action, do it. I can tell you that my journal forbids me from trading Asian price action. So, you know, just be patient with it. And then just keep in mind what your personal brokers are doing. You know, like I said, most of my brokers, so my personal broker, I can tell you right now, will at 2 p.m. Eastern, indices, gold, the gold market, the oil market, and the indices stock exchange market closes Wednesday at 2 p.m. Eastern. So don't get stuck in a trade, because I'll tell you now what's going to happen. If you do not close out of your trade by 2 p.m. Eastern on Wednesday, everybody knows that Wednesday is double swap day, right? So you get charged double swap. So if for some reason you wanted to close out of your trade and you didn't, you're going to get charged double swap for Wednesday. The market will not open back up Thursday or Friday, but you're still going to get charged the swap fees for it. So if you're in a position where you're like, I'm only up maybe, 10 points or something like that, I don't want to get charged, to get into the negative, close out of your trade. All right. So tomorrow, last day trading for this week. For me it is. Yeah, I'm personally, listen, I've got family coming in, we're doing a big Thanksgiving thing on Thursday. So I'm personally not going to be trading Thursday, and I'm not going to be trading Friday. So, depending on, if something, I'm not going to say I'm not going to set any orders, but I could tell you I'm not going to be on the charts like I normally am. So thoughts on BTC and Ethereum? The same thoughts I've had for weeks, man. I mean, what's your thoughts on BTC? I mean, I'm bullish on BTC, and I'm bullish on Ethereum. But yeah, what's your thoughts? What's your thought on BTC? What do you think? Seeing how low it can go. Well, what are your thoughts? What do you think? I mean, I think for me, what I say, like 32,000 is the lowest. 32,000, and then was it like 40, 42 or something like that? I mean, the chart's there, and it ain't there. There ain't nothing. Yeah. So what is it, like 42,000 is right around the area. This here is the first area that I'd be looking for potential, some accumulation, or I mean, that's what it is. The chart doesn't lie. I mean, the chart's there. Yep. Yeah, I agree. 44 to 42. Absolutely. Yeah. That's why, like, all these people, man, they're talking about, this distribution. Yeah. I mean, sure, you've got an intraday distribution, but just keep in mind the market cycle. You had your accumulation, you had your reaccumulation. Naturally, you're going to have a distribution. The distro's got to come back into a demand area, whether it's here or here, before we go higher. So, but nothing about this chart is telling me we're in a bear market. I mean, geez, we just made an all-time high. What do? We just made an all-time high 10 days ago, 11 days ago. So how has getting the seconds time frame helped you? Well, I mean, dude, you see, like, it definitely allows us to get more data, right? More information. But like I've talked about in the past, man, the hardest thing I think for newer traders is you immediately get tunnel vision, because and this was something, I mean, most of you guys have followed me for a while, right? I did pretty darn good without seconds time frame, and one of the biggest reservations I had about getting the seconds time frame upgrade was I didn't want to put myself in a position where I was focusing too much on the seconds time frame. And, a lot of you guys that do have the seconds time frames, like when you guys send me a chart or something like that, what's the first thing I do? Is I always say, okay, so what's happening on higher time frames other than a 15-second? So if you're comfortable with, the normal time frames, and you've kind of trained yourself to be cognizant of not being stuck with tunnel vision and stuck on lower time frames, then do it, because it is an invaluable resource. For me, it's given me the opportunity to really dive into some really good price action. And, I mean, you guys have seen, we'll be doing, especially on the New York Zooms that we do, taking entries off of a 5-second schematic, while it's happening, and getting really, really tight entries. I mean, it's the key, you know what I mean? And you can't do that. There's some times where you don't see what's going on the 1 minute, because the seconds time frame just has more data. I think Nzd Cad was a perfect example of that. On the 1 minute, it looked like a type 2, but you get down on the 15 to 30 second, and it really just opened it up as a type 1, which, depending on how you trade, is a difference between full risk trades or partial risk. you know. Let's see. So you wouldn't look for shorts on BTC Ethereum, knowing it has to come down. I don't really margin trade crypto anymore. So no, I don't care. And knowing that it has to come down is different than knowing where the top is. So yeah. You find it hard just waiting for price to come back to the area. I would say go look at another chart, you know. Yeah, I mean, who am I to call? Like, what am I to say that this doesn't do that, right? And turn into a reaccumulation. So I'm not going to call the top. I'm just going to trade. If I'm bullish, you know, what part of this chart here tells me bearishness? Nothing. So, you know, for me, I'm not going to counter trend the most bullish cryptocurrency known to man, you know. So, you know, I would rather just sit back and wait for it to come into the buy area, or just, you know, hold the investment opportunities that I have. Yeah. Buy the dips. Yeah. Now, yeah, it's my private mentorship group that I do. So yeah. Yeah. So just going back to the, you know, I'll tell you this, for me, the biggest plus in upgrading trading to TradingView Premium is obviously the alerts, and you get more data. You know, you get more data that you can go back into and back test. So when should I really be looking for buys? On BTC, it depends. I mean, are you investing into this, or are you margin trading? I mean, if you're margin trading, then, you know, do exactly what the price action is going to tell you. I mean, I could tell you from an investment standpoint, I'm personally not investing in Bitcoin. You know, I'm not going to be going on an exchange and buying any more Bitcoin, because it's not worth it for me. I mean, even if we got, just look at it from this perspective. Even if we got to 100K, if we came down here, so let's just say we came down to 32K, right? And we got up to 100K, that's a 200% increase, 213% increase. That's it. You know, so you buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin at 32,000. Okay, congrats. You know, you've made, you know, 3260. That's what you're up. You know, so you've made 2260 on it. That's nothing for me. You know, I'm not looking for that investment when you can get some altcoins, you know, that can get you way better. I mean, you know, like we go back to like Solana. What does Solana give us? Solana gave us, geez, what did Solana give us? I mean, Solana gave us, when we bought in back in June, Solana gave us 1100%. You know what I mean? So I'm not personally investing anymore in Bitcoin. You know, I've got the coins that I own. I'm going to hold, obviously, but there's no longer any more reinvestments for me. Does flow? I don't know. I mean, I haven't looked at it in a while. I mean, it could be. Yeah, it could be. I mean, it's definitely doing something in this area. So flow's a long-term investment for me. So I don't look at the charts very often on flow. For me, no matter where it goes, I know that eventually I will see it make an all-time high. So, you know, I'm happy. Like I said, I got in here and I got in here. So I'm just waiting. You know, that's why you got to diversify. For me, it's all about diversifying your portfolio. So, are there any cryptos with exciting fundamentals or tech behind it that I'm excited about? Yeah, I mean, the last one, what was it? KubeCoin was the last one that I dropped on YouTube that I was looking at. But other than that, it's everything here. You know, everything on here is what I own. So, and then obviously everything I'm mining. But yeah, so everything on here is what I've put some investment opportunity in, and I'm kind of just waiting. You know, so a lot of it we're in some massive profits on. The others, I'll tell you this, like nothing is close. You know, I'm waiting. Statistically, the last 2 weeks of December, we always have a huge Christmas shopping spree for crypto. So I'm waiting for that. Let's see. Have you taken profits in some of the alt pumps? Yeah, absolutely. Yep, I have. Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. I've paid myself what I risked. You know, I've taken some partials. Yeah, I mean, it's so, I mean, just look at the chart, right? I mean, where do you want to buy from? I mean, you're stuck in between this range. You wish you didn't sell your Kusama? No, I'm not selling my Kusama, man. Yeah, for me, until we make a new high, you know, I personally, I mean, it's not on my chart, so I don't have it. You know, you could see I don't have it. I'm not doing anything with it. Yeah, Kusama's doing really nice, man. And not only that, but it's staking. You know, for me, where did I buy Kusama at? I bought Kusama way back here, back in May and June. So, you know, and of course I'm just waiting. I mean, you know, up to from the original order that I took, it's 327%. And then I bought back in January, back at $50 is where I bought it. So, you know, 12% is what Kraken pays you for staking. So I've just been, I'll tell you, between on Kraken, between 12% on Kusama, 20% on Kava, 9% on Solana. What's the other one? I think it's 9% on Flow. And then I have another one. Oh, and then ADA. I think it's 8% is Cardano. Between just the staking I'm doing on Kraken, like I've made a pretty good penny. You know, like when you go into your Kraken account, it'll say like, you know, total investment, you know, made, whatever. Just in the staking, I've made a pretty good penny. And then of course, you know, there's other things that I'll stake and stuff. You know, I'll tell you this, I stake everything. You know, unless we're coming into an area where I'm going to sell. You know, loop ring was a big one that really just, I mean, from the buy areas that we got into, tremendous. I mean, shoot, what the heck is this thing up? This thing is up. Oh, where's my buy? Hold on. There we go. Well, yeah, there you go. So this thing is up. At one point, it was up almost 2,000%. So it's sitting at about 1,600% for my buy. And then from where I'm looking to see if we can get back down to, which I doubt, I don't think we'll ever see it go back down there. But yeah, we'll see how that plays out. AVAX, no clue, man. I have never looked at AVAX, so don't know. Dot's doing really well, man. Dot's doing really well from the buy that we took over the summer. I mean, we saw almost a 400% increase. So we've taken the high. You know, this is obviously coming into this area here is going to be a nice little area to see if we can get into, or, you know, if we ever come back down in here, you know, it's one of those where you just got to wait for those sell-offs, you know, just like we did in May, right? That massive sell-off. When you get that big sell-off, you know, that's when I start getting when I start to see 15-20% over here drops, then I start looking at charts. I'm like, all right, so where am I going to be buying from? So yeah, ICP, same thing. Yeah, man. ICP, the staking on ICP is phenomenal. So yeah. You know, ICP now, again, it's all, you just got to diversify, you know. We're in this massive accumulation on ICP. So you could see it. So I'm personally, I've purchased ICP. Where did I buy ICP? I bought ICP in here back in July. So I'm maxed out on what I'm going to be putting into ICP until we make a new high. So when this alert up here goes off at $87, that's when I'll start looking at it. So yeah, Superbid's at a great place too, man. I think what's Superbid at? Is it still under $3? Yeah. Superbid alone, just the staking on it is worth it, man. Oh yeah. So it's right at $3. So you get 100% APY just to stake it, and you get 250 if you provide liquidity through Uniswap. So, I mean, it's, for me, it's a win-win. You know that this is not going to go to zero, right? You know, it's not going to go to zero just because of the, I mean, well, it's got, I mean, shoot, it's got 22 million worth of market cap, you know? Yeah, I mean, just to stake it and provide liquidity on it, for me, is worth it. You'll get, once you get your money back worth of that you invested it on worth in the stake, then for there, it's just sitting on it, you know? Do I do those NFTs? Yeah, I do those NFTs, man. The comic books and stuff. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So, but anyway, that's pretty much all I have, guys. I'm gonna run. I've got to I've actually got to eat some dinner. I know we made some little arroz con pollo, so I'm gonna eat some of that. And yeah, man. Listen, just know that this week, don't expect a lot. I mean, just don't force it. You know, I will say that one of the biggest things that I've learned throughout my journey is, if I could sit back and do it all over again, it's, you know, just be patient. You know, you guys hear me talk about it over and over and over again, but it's the truth. And especially those of you guys that are like following, you know, the trades that I'm taking and stuff. I mean, I personally go and show you, all right, look, you know, we waited 20 something days for this trade. We waited, you know, 128 days for this trade. And it's true. You know, you just be patient, let price, you know, I personally, once I stopped getting into the realization that, you know what, I don't need price to I do not need price to come into my point of interest every day for a trade, then, you know, from there it was just super simple, you know. Yeah, I'll tell you what, this may be interesting right here for tomorrow on Nzd Cad. We'll see how it plays. Awesome, guys. Listen, enjoy, and I'll catch everybody later, man. Have a good one.